Hi, it's Mel with the Quilting Room with Mel, and I am here today to do a little review on this vintage sewing machine. This is a 301A. It's made by Singer. It is a lightweight portable machine, almost as lightweight as you can get in the vintage sewing machines. The featherweight, if you're familiar with those, is a little bit lighter. If you're a quilter, a lot of people will tell you, oh, you have to have a featherweight. And they are great little machines, don't get me wrong. This one, though, is probably a better buy for your money. A featherweight will run between $300 and $1,200, depending on if it's a free arm, what kind of condition it is in, etc. These little machines you can pick up $75 to $150 usually. It doesn't have any more features. It's still just a straight stitch machine. It does weigh slightly more than the featherweight, but again, for the price, it may actually be your better value. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to thread the machine. I'm going to point out some of its features, and then I'll sew on it for a little bit. Okay, so let's thread up our Singer 301. The thread comes, let me put the handle down so you can see a little better. Thread comes from the back. Take it off. There's a guide in the back we have to go through, a guide in the front. Come down through the tension assembly. Make sure that latches. You'll hear a little click behind this guide. And you can tell if you got it right if this moves up and down when you have the thread. Through the eye of the take-up. Through this guide. Down here into the pigtail, as I call it. Two more guides. Down here by the needle. Okay, and here is the different part about this machine. Normally we thread our needles from left to right. This one we actually thread from right to left. Okay, I've got the thread in there, and then I'm just going to pull it through. Tuck it under my foot and to the back. And that's it. Our 301 is threaded. I'm going to point out some features here while I have the camera zoomed in on the machine. If you notice, the foot is at an angle, and that's because this is a slant needle machine. Singer made a 201, a 301, a 400 series, and a 500 series. They are all slant needle machines. Okay, let's get ready to sew on this thing. I just have a couple of things that I want to point out real quick that I didn't in our previous little segment. The light bulb is actually located behind this cream colored plate that says Singer. There's a little knob under there. The other thing I wanted to point out, this is the bobbin winder. Put your bobbin on there, and this tire runs around there. There's a guide down here for it, and it winds your bobbin. I am not going to do that. I only have one bobbin for this machine, and it's in the in the machine, so I can't show you how to wind a bobbin. I'd love to. The other thing, this is your stitch regulator. You turn the knob out, and you can move it up and down to select what length of stitch you have. This is stitches per inch. If you're familiar with modern machines, we work in millimeters now. 2 to 2.5 millimeters is the standard stitch length when piecing a quilt together. That's between a 10 and a 12 stitches per inch. So if you have an older machine that has numbers like this, and you're like, I don't know what these people are talking about when they tell me to do a 2 millimeter stitch, 10 to 12. So I'm going to move it up in that range, tighten it down, so that it locks it in. If I was doing something that I needed a back stitch on, and I know we don't do that in quilting very often, but sometimes you need to back stitch. If you push it up, it back stitches at the exact same stitch length as what you had it set down here. When you put it down, it goes right back to the end of forward at the same stitch length that we had. One more thing before we start. The foot that is currently on it is not a 1/4 inch foot, but I don't have to use my trick of a index card. Because this one actually has the plate that is marked, and it marks out 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, 5/8, and 3/4 right there on the plate for me, so I don't have to mark anything with my washi tape. So let's make a quick seam so you can see how this machine goes. I am sewing from the side so that you can see the machine at work and not see my shoulder or the back of my head. The foot is kind of hinged, so it'll go over these big seams fairly well. And let's run a seam. And that's it. You'll notice it's a very quiet machine. The only time it struggled was I let off of the foot pedal as I was going through that thick seam. Not something you should do on any machine, because it does take a lot of motor oomph to get down through a thick part. So if you stop it right in the middle of that, sometimes you might have to help it with the hand wheel. But that's it. It's a great little machine. I highly recommend it. I wish this one was in my collection, but it's not. I had to borrow my sister-in-law's to be able to do this video. But I wanted it to be one of our first ones because it is so popular with quilters, or it's becoming very popular with quilters because they can't get their hands on the featherweight. Remember to follow me. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. You can visit my blog, melsquiltingroom.blogspot.com, for more quilty sewing goodness. Find me on Facebook. If you go to my blog, there is actually links on the left-hand side of the blog for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all the good social media. You can sign up for my newsletter. You can sign up to get all the posts delivered directly to your inbox. And join me on Thursday when I will have another quick quilting tip for you right here on YouTube.